Senator and future President Lyndon B. Johnson addressed the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association in Chicago. He declared, "If one thing goes out of this meeting, it will be sending youngsters to the national capital where they can actually see what the flag stands for and represents."
What Rosa Parks did started a landslide of marches and boycotts and speeches that ultimately ended segregation once and for all. What she did was the start of a revolutionary time period. But think of the other side of things. Think if that one white girl, aka me, would have just stood beside her and in those few moments of scrutiny from the driver and just stood that stand with her. It would have shown those stubborn white people that not all of the African American population was uneducated imbeciles like they thought, but actual people who could work and stand just as well as their white peers. It would have given strength to those scared whites that didn't want to ruin their reputation and didn't want to be pegged as the odd one out because they weren't afraid to stand up for what was right. So that's why I chose this moment. And I
stood and given her my seat. She should have not been arrested for what she did. She was only claiming what was rightfully hers. 90 years after slavery was abolished, and even in some ways today, the colored people are still being treated unfairly. You could almost say they are being treated like slaves. They had to ride in the back of the bus and use separate bathrooms. They could not even drink from the same drinking fountain. They were treated like second-class citizens. They did not have choices in what they could do or where they could go. They were told what they could do for work and where they could go to shop and socialize. They were given the worst and dirtiest jobs that no white person wanted to do. They were basically unofficial slaves of the white people. Even for years to follow, and in some ways today, the colored people are still being segregated. They did not gain all the rights that white people had until the late 60s and early 70s, and a man had to die for the United States to realize what was wrong. We all know that man as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Yet today, some people still will not hire a person based on their color of the skin. In Malachi 2:10 it says, "Have we not all one Father? Hath not one God created us? Why do we deal treacherously every man against his brother by profaning the covenants of our fathers? God created us all equal. No man is better than another. The white people are no better than the black people." I wish I had been on the bus that day to help Rosa Parks. I wish I had lived during the Civil Rights Movement to help all men and women gain their rights, alongside some of the greats such as Rosa Parks, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Linda Brown, and others. Today we have an African American president, yet we still, as a nation, have a long ways to go. There is a song that I learned at a very young age in Bible school that goes, "Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world. Red and yellow, black and white, they are precious in his sight. Jesus loves all the little children of the world." Thank you.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy, the United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by the naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. Thousands of American men and women, servicemen and civilians' lives were taken by an unlikely foe. The painful fact is, 2,400 civilian and military lives were lost in the space of only a few hours. If I could do something in history to alter it, maybe change the outcome for the better, somehow, I think that having the opportunity to keep some of these men and women alive would be more than worth the fear I would undoubtedly have been subjected to. If I can make a difference in just one person's life, or rather death, it would be worth it. Hundreds might have survived the war simply because I was there.
I could have made a difference in the life of just one, and it could have changed history.